Good afternoon. The fucking rats were all up in my bus last night. There's turds that are this fucking big. Like, I'm talking about Mondo, giant creatures. I'm so pissed, dude. So, Adam gave me a black cat, fucking industrial sized trap. So, we'll see. We'll see if we can kill them motherfuckers. I'm gonna need a garbage bag as well. Oops, sorry, forgot you were on there. sad. Like, it's wintry now. I'm not able to wear the cool hats that Mary Lou made me. This thing will fit my dreadlocks. Love it. Clothes. I can leave that there for now. I want to eat this in a little bit. More hats. Cut it out. Perfectly fine. Here's my pen. He acts like he's dying.
What?
He acts like he's dying.
Who?
Orly.
Or he doesn't?
He's a wee little baby. He likes to cry when he needs anything. The honey crystallized from all the weather changing. Strong like bull. Oh, I better not put that there. I'm gonna get it out. Oh my god, my refrigerator turned off! Oh, good, I must have just done it. Ooh-wee. That scared the shit out of me. Goes with the silverware. Orly, that's enough. No. Why do they make cans so you cannot stack them on top of each other anymore? Who the frick thought that was a good idea?
Or they supposed to build a lawnmower that you can pull around behind you.
How funny would that be?
Hey, I'll see you on tour in Las Vegas, Chicago, and Grand Rapids. In Chicago, it's stand-up and a live panel show. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com. We have Max Blumenthal's with us. You know, he's the award-winning journalist as well as the editor-in-chief and founder of the independent investigative news website, The Gray Zone, which I gave a nice shout-out to on Joe Rogan, the #1 show in the world. And I had to really twist Aaron Mate's arm to thank me for that, which was really hurt me. He's also the best-selling author of several books, including Goliath, The 51-Day War, and The Management of Savagery. It's Max Blumenthal. Hey, Max. So
Hey, Jimmy, good to see you.
So here's why I have you on. So you reported this on October 27th, 2023. You said October 7 testimonies reveal Israel military shelling Israel citizens with tanks and missiles. So on October 7th, you reported that it was the Israeli military that attacked their own people and their own soldiers, right? Okay.
Yes, and you know, followed up on this with several other reports that were way ahead of the Israeli media on the Israeli military killing Israeli citizens in large numbers on October 7th, and doing so deliberately.
And so when you reported that at your website, The Gray Zone, you got smeared by Haaretz, which is the Israeli newspaper, and it says master class in manipulation, exposing Max Blumenthal's lies about Israel on October 7th. The Gray Zone editor has a history of denying war crimes, so it's no surprise he provided a piece that very selectively uses facts, includes purposely edited quotes to change their meaning, and grossly plays down their atrocities. Now, why is this important? Why do I bring this up? Well, here's one more. I'll show you why. You got smeared by the Washington Post. The Washington Post published not one, but 2 live-filled smears of us for helping expose the Hannibal directive scandal. First by the anti-Palestinian neocon, what is it? Her name, Liz Dwoskin? Liza Dwoskin. I can't believe she would lie. Look how pretty she is. Pretty means innocence. I bet she just works with the security agency teaching them breathing techniques and yoga. Come on. Nothing about deceiving her own people, right? Along with everyone else. You go, then by the mendacious CIA stenographer Joseph Men, who falsely insinuated Iran and Russia were directing our factual reporting while clamoring for the criminal prosecution of our editor, Wyatt Reed. Wow. Where's the accountability for these journalists? Well, there isn't going to be any. But why do I bring all this up, this old reporting of yours, and the fact that you were smeared for being accurate? Because now Haaretz is also echoing what your reporting said back in October. Now, after smearing you for months and months, now IDF ordered Hannibal directive on October 7th to prevent Hamas taking soldiers captive. There was crazy hysteria. Decisions started being made without verified information. Documents and testimonies obtained by Haaretz reveal the Hannibal operational order, which directs the use of force to prevent soldiers being taken into captivity, was employed at 3 army facilities infiltrated by Hamas, potentially endangering civilians as well. So what they did was, by the way, the best way to prevent your own soldiers being captured is to kill them, obviously. That's what the Hannibal directive is, and it invented in like 1986 after Hamas had captured some Israeli soldiers, and the soldiers didn't shoot at them because they didn't want to kill their own people. Well, then the Israelis, they were like, hey, go ahead,
through this
kill our own
crazy
people.
fucking mess.
That's called the Hannibal directive. And not only did they kill their own soldiers, Max, they also killed their own civilians, correct?
Deliberately, because, you know, one Israeli soldier, Gilad Shalit, who was captured in 2006, was exchanged 5 years later for 1,200 Palestinian prisoners, Palestinian captives. So for the Israelis, that's just politically devastating.
Yeah, so they would rather slaughter their own soldiers and civilians. So here is a colonel from the IDF, and it's translated. This is what he says happened on October 7th. So this is. So this guy's name is Naf Erez.
Yeah.
He's an Israeli colonel, and he said it was a mass Hannibal, meaning the Hannibal directive. It was a mass. It wasn't just they just killed a few. They killed mass of people. That's how I'm interpreting it. Is that how you interpret that?
Absolutely, and that's what was corroborated in this new Haaretz report, which I basically already reported back then.
Yes. So here, I'll play this for you. This is an Israeli colonel. Here we go. What we saw here on October 7th was mass Hannibal. There were many openings in the fence. Thousands of people in many different vehicles. Thousands of people in many different vehicles with hostages and without. So this woman who survived the attacks has also accused the Israeli army of invoking the directive. They killed hostages. Hang on, we back it up. He says, understand, they killed hostages. They were killed in the crossfire. Understand, there was very, very heavy crossfire. So our forces, the Israeli army, may have killed them. Undoubtedly, she says. Yes, undoubtedly. That's a survivor. Helicopters Nova Music Festival. These revelations counter the army's claims that Hamas was responsible. See, there's the cars.
I did empty the bus, and I am starting fresh.
That Hamas was responsible.
Anything that can be cleaned, I'm keeping. But anything that can't be cleaned, I'm not keeping. I've gotten rid of already 30 garbage bags with the shit. A lot of shit I did not want to get rid of.
Were killed by the Israeli army that day. How many of their own?
I have to buy all new rugs. I'm getting that wood thing out of my house. I might give it to Adam, but I got to get those rugs. I'm not even halfway done with the bus. But I have to get out of the shed right now. There's no more waiting. So I have to get out of the shed right now. I have no choice. It is what it is. If I had all the time in the world, I would have completely done the whole bus and then worried about it, but I got everything out that I could not clean, and except for that wood thing in the center of the bus and the 2 rugs in the front of the bus. But I can't do any of that until I do the back of the bus and I get everything moved. So I had to build the bed. I had to have enough space to build the bed, so I had to move things here, then I build the bed, then I move things there, and then I do the thing in the middle, and then
Israel's whole mission.
It's all I can do. I have no other option.
Supposed to be to keep Jews safe.
I don't have time.
Here they are.
To
killing
do
more
things.
Jews than any other anti-Semite in recent history, and doing
No more time left
for political reasons. I mean, they created, according to this. I mean, there was some new stuff in this Haaretz piece that I didn't know about that was fairly clear to me. Although a lot of it just overlapped with what I'd already pulled out of Hebrew language reports that were on the public record. One of them was that the Israelis created a free fire zone where nothing was allowed to pass by blanketing this area in the frontier between southern Israel and the Gaza Strip with artillery. I didn't know they were using massive amounts of artillery, but you can assume that those cars that got roasted that you see there, many of them were hit with artillery. I mean, 155 millimeter howitzer shells that can kill a lot of people. So I don't think it was just in the tens. We do know, they killed 12 Israeli citizens with 1 tank shell who were huddled in a house, who were being held captive by Hamas militants who were trying to negotiate their way out. Rather than negotiate, one of the top generals in the Israeli army, Brigadier General Barak Hiram, someone who's being put up for a promotion to lead the Gaza division, he ordered the tank to fire into the house to kill everyone, including children, including Jewish Israeli children. And as we reported at the Gray Zone, Israeli propagandists and officials went out and said, oh, these cute the twins the Hetzroni twins, who were 12 years old, were murdered by Hamas. But it turned out they were deliberately killed by the Israeli army so they wouldn't have to cut a deal with their Hamas captors.
So now, do the people in Israel care about this?
I don't think it's at the top of their priority list right now because they're focused, they're divided on whether the hostages should be saved or whether Israel should just continue committing genocide forever. And this does relate to the issue of the Hannibal directive, because actually the niece of one of the hostages who's being held in Gaza, I think his name is Ofer Calderon, she went on Israeli national TV and said that the Israeli government is applying the Hannibal directive now, after October 7th, to kill the hostages that are being held in Gaza so they don't have to negotiate for their release. Because once they're gone, Hamas has no political leverage, and Israel just, can call it a day. And there are hostages in Gaza, and captives, prisoners of war, who are soldiers who were captured, who are American citizens. So my colleague Sam Husseini went to the State Department, journalist Sam Husseini, and he asked Tony Blinken's flack, Matthew Miller, popularly known as Smirkula, asked him, what do you think about Israel applying the Hannibal directive? Do you think it's possible they could actually kill American captives in Gaza? This should be something the State Department answered. This is just over a week ago. Matthew Miller's response, I haven't heard of the Hannibal directive. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, here, I think I have that. Let me play that.
Yeah, this is it.
You talk about the hostages. Israel has a Hannibal directive in which it has orders in place to kill at least its own soldiers, lest they fall into the hands of Palestinian groups. And there's substantial reporting that in fact, was utilized on October 7th, not just against Israeli soldiers, but against civilians. Are we not now in a situation where Israel may be using the Hannibal directive not just on Israelis, civilians and military, but on U.S. citizens and other foreign nationals?
So I am not familiar in any way with either that supposed directive or those reports.
You've never heard of the Hannibal?
Certainly would not want to comment on it.
You've never heard of the Hannibal directive?
I thought you wanted to go out of the region.
Sure.
I guess Goebbels never heard of propaganda either. And, that guy Miller is the Hannibal directive in human form. He listens to the question, but all he hears is what's for dinner? Go ahead, Max. You want to say something?
No.
And they say they love Israel. All these U.S. officials say they love Israel, but they don't know anything about that, which makes sense, actually.
I guess just knowing people who've been in the State Department or had any proximity to Miller, they say he and the whole staff, they know nothing about this subject. And they just do what they're told because they're all hoping for big jobs after the administration's over. But this is one of the biggest scandals. This is one of the biggest scandals of this heinous, almost 9-month-old war. And the mainstream U.S. media, the only time they touched it is to attack us at the Gray Zone or to attack Electronic Intifada and others who brought up this reality, which is now just completely corroborated.
So, here's a tweet from you. Who's Kenneth Roth?
Ken Roth was the longtime leader of Human Rights Watch, the leading arm of the Human Rights Industrial Complex, and a major humanitarian interventionist who has advanced war against and regime change against Russia, everywhere from Russia to Bolivia to Venezuela to Syria, and now he's sort of independent. And Ken Roth is somewhat critical of Israel. So he's trying to criticize Israel here, or he's linking to the Haaretz report in the tweet that I'm responding to. So he's linking to the report about the Hannibal directive, and I'm bringing up the fact that when that Haaretz smear came out against me back in November, when it wasn't popular to talk about this, he smeared me, And you can read what he said there.
Here's what he says. He says the far left makes a big mistake to deny or downplay Hamas's atrocities. Israel's bombardment and besiegement of Palestinian civilians in Gaza are awful on their own terms. Whitewashing Hamas's war crimes is wrong, unnecessary, and unhelpful. So he was accusing you of doing that, of whitewashing Hamas's crimes, right? And so you tweeted out, "A great job acknowledging that what I reported 8 months ago was true. Any plans to delete this tweet swearing me for my factual reporting on October 7th and to apologize for it?" No. No. Is the answer no?
I mean, he's never responded to me, but
Hey, Adam!
I'm getting more engagement.
Can
on
you
that
help me
tweet
carry
than the
these
original
couple
tweet
bins?
got, because people realize who these frauds are, and that the timing.
Will you help
here
me
is
carry
so
these
important,
bins?
because what Israel was trying
They're
to
really
do
heavy.
by inflating the death toll on October 7th was to give itself more political space to support Gaza, a large percentage of the population, and commit
This one and then
genocide.
that one.
And so it was so important to counter their bogus narrative about October 7th right away. And when I did so, and when others did so, we came under massive attack, not only from the usual suspects in the corporate media, but from people like former Human Rights Watch director Ken Roth. And now they need to be called out for it. There needs to be accountability, because they were complicit in helping Israel make the case for genocide.
So let me just read a little bit of the Haaretz report. Communication networks could not keep up with the flow of information, this is on October 7th, as was the case for soldiers sending these reports. However, the message conveyed at 11:22 a.m. across the Gaza Division network was understood by everyone. Not a single vehicle can return to Gaza was the order. That means wipe out all those civilians, right? Okay. Documents obtained by Haaretz, as well as testimonies of soldiers, mid-level and senior IDF officers, reveal a host of orders and procedures laid down by the Gaza Division, Southern Command, and the IDF General Staff up to the afternoon hours of that day, showing how widespread this procedure was from the first hours following the attack and at various points along the border. They were just slaughtering people all over the place, and everywhere they went. Their own people. Gaza Division operations and airstrikes in the first hours of October 7th were based on limited information. The first long moments after the Hamas attack was launched were chaotic. Reports were coming in with their significance not always clear. When their meaning was understood, it was realized that something horrific had taken place. Now that refers to what the IDF did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing that's horrific there is the Israeli army slaughtering their own soldiers and their own citizens, right?
No, what that's speaking to is the chaos that enveloped the extremely overhyped, overrated Israeli military, which was suffering possibly the worst defeat in its history, getting overrun by a band of besieged militants on Chinese motorbikes. And so their reaction was completely
And I blast him!
And they had no idea how to
dropped right out the bottom of the engine.
anything off. They didn't wind up
God damn.
pulling themselves together until later that afternoon, and the Hamas attack
All right.
at 6 in the morning. Israel's intelligence failed. Its military
But on
failed.
purpose. But I mean,
Soft stuff.
we've covered this on this show that, and you've covered it too, that they had the plans that Hamas used. They had them a year ahead of time. They were, and Hamas followed those plans almost to the letter. And so Israel was aware. They took away. They should have never okayed that festival because the security people on the ground didn't. They denied it, and then they got overruled. Said, yeah, let them have that festival, even though they knew there was an attack coming, all this stuff, and they took away their soldiers from where they should have been to protect them. So this was a setup. I'll say it. A lot of people won't. This was a setup by Netanyahu and the Israeli army to almost encourage this to happen by putting that festival there, and then by slaughtering the people after the attack started. So this was so they could use this as a reason to go in and carpet bomb Gaza, and now everywhere else in Palestine. That's what it seems very clear to me. So I don't want to put words in your mouth. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't agree with the theory that Israel deliberately made a decision at high levels to allow this to take place. I think that they're just their intelligence, military intelligence apparatus is extremely overrated, overhyped. They're kind of a paper tiger. What they're doing in Gaza is completely dependent on air power and 2,000-pound, 500-pound bombs supplied by the U.S. as well as tech. But if that stopped coming, Israel would have to evacuate its entire population tomorrow. It's not like a real. It's not the military it's cracked up to be, is what I'm saying. Its intelligence was extremely shoddy, and there were reports, of course, that we know about now. But I also think that Israel's military leadership and its political leadership has not achieved their objectives in Gaza. They've failed. Israel is in a very dangerous existential crisis right now, not just militarily or politically, but economically. Foreign investment is not coming in for its tech sector, which sustained its whole middle class. So I don't think that this was something that they would allow to happen. I mean, I'm also not a 9/11 truther, but the 9/11 attacks did work out better for the neoconservatives and the U.S. security state than October 7th has kind of worked out. The response to October 7th has worked out for the Israelis. And I also think it underestimates the capacity of Hamas to stage an attack like this. I don't think anyone would have expected it to have succeeded. For Hamas, they killed close to 400 Israeli soldiers. And that was staggering for the Israeli military. So, yeah, I mean, and since then we've witnessed so many deceptions, so many lies. I mean, basically when an Israeli propagandist is talking, you can assume they're lying. And so who's to believe that anything they say is real about October 7th? Like, I understand why people are developing these theories.
If I was privy to Ben Swan, so we featured on the show. Ben Swan did some great reporting. Investigative reporting using all reports from Jewish newspapers, Israeli newspapers, and sources.
Money has been in my fucking yarn.
And it's very clear that this was, at the very least,
I heard her
allowed
meow
to
just
happen
now. Outside.
by Israel's army and Netanyahu. And so it's very, very clear. I don't know if maybe you haven't seen that reporting, but it is fantastic. There's a video up on our channel covering it. You go to Ben Swan's website. Anyway, yeah, it's very tough. But this is so you've been vindicated, right? And but Haaretz is not going to ever again. Oh, you always are, right? But so Haaretz is not going to apologize to you, nor is that other guy who now works for the Human Rights Watch. You're not.
Or the Washington Post. I mean, Washington Post ran a full-page feature attacking the gray zone, accusing us of spreading misinformation. Not just that, of violating Iran sanctions. Trying to get our editor, Wyatt Reed, jailed, literally thrown in prison, because, as he publicly stated at the time, he was doing producing for Press TV. So they went to that level because of the reporting we've been doing since October 7th. And, you know, all the sources quoted in that piece are basically U.S. intelligence cutouts or Israeli intelligence cutouts. They're not going to apologize because this is their agenda, to spread misinformation, to muddy the waters, and to prevent us from having a clear understanding of some of the biggest scandals of our time. It's like one of the biggest scandals of our time that we talked about for years on your show, Jimmy, was Russiagate.
Yeah.
Not that there was a Trump-Russia connection, but that this connection was concocted in order to take us to war. Us, the United States, is now directly involved in war with Russia. And that's partly a result of the manufacturing of a consensus that Russia needed to be attacked because they were destroying our democracy. It's the same thing with these lies that Israel spun out after October 7th. And one of those first lies was they inflated the October 7th death toll. Now, I'm not saying that Hamas or Palestinian militants didn't commit atrocities on October 7th, like shooting civilians, for example, or kidnapping people. That's all confirmed. And it was a military attack, a special forces style attack, mostly on military bases. People get killed, but Israel couldn't sell what it wanted to do in Gaza, full-on genocide, ethnic cleansing, with just the facts that were clearly established with video. So they concocted mass rape, beheaded babies, fetuses cut from women, but it all started with first exaggerating the death toll, and they first said it was 1,400, and I think I was one of the first people, at least with a platform in the English language, to say that many of those that they initially counted were actually Palestinians, and they were disseminating photos of people who were looked burned, and they looked like they had been charred and burned alive. In fact, those were Palestinians who had infiltrated from Gaza, who were hit by Israeli Apache helicopters or Israeli artillery fire, and they were trying to pass them off as Jewish Israelis. Israel, months later, lowered its death toll to 1,200, but if we consider that 400 at least of those were Israeli soldiers who were combatants in uniform enforcing the siege of Gaza, not innocent civilians, and now we consider that hundreds were Israeli citizens killed by the Israeli army, it doesn't look like this second Holocaust that they tried to sell it as. And so they have to constantly muddy the waters and attack anyone who dares to talk about the Hannibal directive. And now it's like 9 months later, Gaza's destroyed. It's too late. So now Israeli media can really talk about it. And I bet you, U.S. media will start to, the New York Times will have some discussion about it, like in the fog of the war.
Yeah.
And they'll use the passive voice. And then they'll say, we did it. We finally covered it. By the time they do it, the damage is done.
That's right. So they wanted to inflate all the numbers. They wanted to make it more horrific. They wanted to spread the propaganda so they could have the political capital to go in and do this mass slaughter that they're doing. And now I guess that they've done most of it. I guess it's okay for Haaretz to start reporting the truth. Is that what it looks like to you?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do it before? It's just the way that the Western mainstream media works. I mean, you can look at any major issue today, like Joe Biden's dementia. Now it's okay for the New York Times to do real reporting because no one can deny the dementia, and Joe Biden is a threat to anyone who believes that the most important thing in the world is to stop the new Hitler, Donald Trump, from taking office. So the New York Times can report that the Biden White House has been feeding questions to journalists who want to interview Biden, that the journalists have to agree to ask the questions the White House wants. Now they can report a Parkinson's doctor has been visiting the White House. But if Biden had performed well in the debate, they wouldn't have done that real reporting because their whole agenda is to back up the political consensus, the transatlantic political consensus. And part of that is that Israel has a quote unquote right to defend itself as it occupies indigenous people, tortures them and slaughters them. So they slaughtered them. They got away with it. Now it's okay. We can talk about this scandal.
Max Blumenthal from the Gray Zone. Great job. I'm glad to see you vindicated once again. And this is the life you've chosen, Max. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, I'm sure you know the feeling too.
Yes, of course.
Morley, come on, man.
Yes, everybody should check out the Gray Zone. They do great reporting. GrayZone.com. Max, thanks for coming on. It's great to talk to you.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
Okay.
Really appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
All right, good seeing you.
Hey, I'll see you on tour in Las Vegas, Chicago, and Grand Rapids. In Chicago, it's stand-up and a live panel show. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com.
Oh boy, Donald Trump is having them squealing today, as of course it's the perfect orchestra of outrage and people being pissed off. Yep,
Wish I
the
knew where my
libertarians,
flashlight was.
the neocons, the Republicans, and Democrats all
Sure
all
wish I could
pissed
find that
at
thing.
Donald Trump, as of course he just signed global tariffs and made the trade war go nuclear, as a lot of people are expecting a lot of significant economic turmoil from here. And of course, we told you the stock market went up a little bit. Everyone's like, yeah, it's a new day. I'm like, no, it's not. Be warned, this is the beginning of a very turbulent future for the next 6 to 9 months, where the economy, where the stock market, it's not going to be its best. And there's a strategy here that, of course, we told you about before. We're going to tell you once again what's really going on here. Is Donald Trump on Liberation Day decided to walk out and, quote, make America wealthy again. That was the name of the event at the White House today, as he has now announced reciprocal tariffs against almost every nation in the world, except for 3 countries. We'll tell you about those 3 countries in a little bit. As
I'm in
now
here.
a lot of people are expecting.
That's
Yep,
right. There is
the
a
Dow,
fucking
the
sound.
I can't hear you. I got my thing on. Open the door.
going to collapse. It's all going to
There's
be
totally a
collapse.
sound you can play to freaking get rid of
It's
rats
gonna be
too.
interesting
Oh,
to
yeah?
see what happens here, as of course the meme markets though are on
Played it,
fire.
and Orly started barking, and I tell you what, it made my fucking ears like
That fucking
tingle and
high
like.
pitch.
Donald Trump.
Yes, I
Oh my
know.
God.
That's why I get so angry.
And you get a tariff as people need to
He's got
understand.
that
They
one
don't
specific
just tariff
tone,
them.
and it
It's not
is
like
just
they're
the
going out to countries
worst.
and be like, yo, we're taking a cut here. No, he only tariffed predominantly 50% of what those countries tariff us. So a lot of the NPCs don't understand that. Like the tariffs are a response to the tariffs that already exist on American companies and on American goods entering those countries. And now Donald Trump is saying, give it to me, baby. We are tariffing you back. And if countries don't want to tariff us, guess what? We won't tariff them. And therefore, this economic calamity could all be avoided if we all play nice with each other and treat each other equally. Now, is that what is going to be happening here? Probably not. As of course, the outrage here is really interesting. It's really fascinating to see so many people outraged, so many people pissed off here, as we also found out here that there's a 10% tariff on the Heard Island, which has a population of 0 and is inhabited only by penguins, according to the New York Post, with Salty Cracker saying, good, F those penguins, they better pay their fair share. Those penguins want to import earmuffs from the United States. They can't tariff American companies. As we have the full list here, and I asked my audience, what do they think about these tariffs? The answers were kind of interesting. A lot of people were saying more. A lot of other people were saying, I would say he's going easy on them. Lisa Elizabeth said, not enough. Other people were saying it's entirely fair and likely not as strong as they could be called truly reciprocal. Yeah, absolutely here, as there are 2 countries off of the list here that weren't named in Donald Trump's official announcement here, as he had these pictures here cut out in cardboard that he was showing out to everyone. And here you see, these are the tariffs that they have on us. Now we're just going to reciprocate. And,
Orly,
if
please,
they want to cut them
buddy.
off, we'll cut them off too, baby. It is what it is. But a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't understand that, as a lot of people are now hyper-focusing on global nuclear trade war and the economy going down. And again, the stock market isn't just an economy there. 3 countries left off: Mexico, Canada, and Russia. It looks like Axios tried to make this look a little bit more sinister than it actually was here. But the reason Canada and Mexico were left off, it's because there's already tariffs placed on them. Russia, we have economic warfare and economic sanctions on them already. We used to trade about $35 billion with Russia. Now, because of the sanctions and economic war that the United States is waging against the Russians, it's about $3.5 billion. A huge, significant decrease throughout the years, as a lot of people are saying, oh,
Ah, there's my
Trump's
jewel.
tariff
I'm
list
looking
is
everywhere
missing
for that
one country.
bitch.
No, it's missing actually 3. Russia. Shut up. Again, Goldman Sachs is in panic. Good. Goldman Sachs is a socialistic left-wing communistic enterprise inside of this country that has for far too long plagued us with their unfair business practices that have been seedy, that have been unfair, that have been rooted in deep-seated corruption, that now, finally, are these people going to get an upcoming? Is there going to be a fixed correction on the economy here? Well, it looks like it, as many people now expect the stock market, Wall Street stocks, to drop like a stone. Trillions of dollars of value is going to just automatically be liquidated. And a lot of the people say, you know, our economy is based on this ebb and flow system, right?
Apparently did not clean that little corner when I moved in.
Correction. Donald Trump could be fixing that correction.
Really wish I had a fucking flashlight.
Specifically for the midterms.
Wish I had my
That, of course, would
flashlight.
create a new economic cycle that, of course, would
It's just mysteriously
clean
come
out
up missing.
the bad debt, the bad appraisals, the bad money that, of course, is in our system right now that a lot of people believe is overvalued, overinflated. Now, I want to get into Rand Paul's response here because it's very similar to Andrew Yang's response. And I want to get into some other neocons responses here because I think they're fascinating. And I want to talk about the strategy here and the gambit that's being played here. Because if it's pulled off, this could work really well. I already gave you one tidbit just earlier, but before going on, I want to remind you, sign up to lookunfiltered.com. It's the only real way to support us that keeps us going and is able to have us be fully independent. I had a really bad argument with another kind of media company we used to work with, and it's pretty sad what they do. I'll save that for another day, and I'm just very happy that I didn't put all my eggs in one basket. I'm very happy that no matter what, I never sold lookunfiltered.com. I have my own membership groups. You guys are there. You guys are my family. I talked to you guys earlier today. One of the guys asked, hey, do you have a hoodie that opens up that's a zipper? We don't. Maybe we'll do something else. But you can talk to me directly all through lookunfiltered.com. 20 cents a day. Click here. Put in the information. It's quick. It's easy. It's simple. Click the link down in the description below. And just make sure to check your spam box because Google hates us. And that's where you get your credentials. You get to log in 13 plus years of videos, 3 master classes, a forum, a Telegram chat. You guys are also able to be a part of these shows. If you have a question you want to ask me on camera, shoot a video and I will play your questions here on these episodes and I will answer them in real time. Again, we got seed oil cards, crap list of items at the supermarket you should be avoiding, all on lookunfiltered.com, our quasi-secret, not so secret society. As soon as we are
No, do not get caught.
in South Florida very soon, and another range day. I think it's already arranged there. I got about a month from now. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be super exciting. All of that, plus a lot more, all exclusively on lookunfiltered.com. So sign up right now. As another person I'm really happy with today is Andrew Yang, saying these tariffs are stupid and inflationary. What's really inflationary is the U.S. Federal Reserve banking system there, Andrew Yang, and their policies that they're implementing right now, as Donald Trump is trying to get lower interest rates to pay off a big significant portion of debt that the U.S. government has to pay off.
There's my flashlight! Oh my god, thank you, Jesus!
The exact opposite of what you want us to do. As
I was
Senator
so
Rand
worried that she
came
stole
out and
it.
said
I'm
tariffs
so
to
fucking
punish
happy I was
governments,
wrong.
They punish American families. When we tax imports, we raise the price of everything from groceries to smartphones to washing machines to prescription drugs. As Rand Paul delivered a speech on the House floor, as we had some very interesting moves made by U.S. senators. Another neocon and the former Vice President of the United States for Donald Trump, Mike Pence, Mr.
Anything it can, it will.
Man, Mr. Pathetic Weasel Man. Sorry, that's my own personal interpretation of him. Said the Trump tariff tax is the largest peacetime tax hike in U.S. history. These tariffs are nearly 10 times the size of these imposed during Trump's Pence administration and will cost American families over $3,500 per year. Check out Spoiling American Golden Age. Okay, stop being so dramatic and pathetic. As now we are finding out, as the United States has confirmed that a big significant portion of the tariffs is going to be against China, which we are heavily dependent on a lot of goods for. Will this now uncouple us from China and allow American manufacturing base to have equal footing on the world, where their products could now be sold in international markets without needing to face harsh sanctions that they have to put onto the consumers? That's the real thing here that I think Donald Trump is trying to do here. He's trying to set up more protectionist policies in favor to spur on more investment, more development, more growth, more manufacturing here inside of the United States. And it's a risky gamble because a lot of the other economies here have to answer. And they probably will. Listen, if you're a country like Vietnam, by the way, lots of employees there for Nike. I have no love affair for Nike. They're a horrible, woke, multinational corporation that likes
They're
to
from
lecture
Eugene,
people
Oregon. That's why.
on Black Lives Matter, while they have factories in Vietnam.
Nike's headquarters is here.
They had factories in China before, and those weren't the best either. Okay, don't lecture me about human rights. Okay? When you're committing awful practices that a lot of people have always looked at being very immoral and very wrong. Now, Vietnam.
Oh, damn it, of course.
American Eagle. Okay. Why don't you just set up a new mayor? Again, these countries will be happy. All Vietnam has to do is say, yeah, you know what? We'll just cut off tariffs here. So
Alright.
we can compete
So
on the global
I'm
market.
basically all unmoved
And,
out from over
people
there,
buy
which
American
is
products,
really
they'll buy them at cost.
the majority of my shit
Without the Vietnamese government getting a cut of that profit.
that I
That's
couldn't
that
just
simple.
see.
And that's probably what Vietnam is going to be doing here. Now, will there be a shift in manufacturing potentially? I think there's going to be some countries that are going to hold out. I think there's going to be some companies that are going to say, it might be actually now more cost effective.
Garbage right here.
It might be more productive to use more labor here inside the United States. Hey, what about that prison labor? That's pretty cheap. That's pretty readily available. That's an option here as well, especially in places like California, as the U.S. Senate just passed a measure to terminate Trump's tariffs on Canada with a 51 to 48 vote. As we had four Republicans.
Oh, fuck, I have so much stuff up there.
Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, all
Oh,
voting for this measure that, of course, will probably be going to the House, and Donald Trump will probably veto and not pass. We had U.S. Secretary Lutnick coming out and describing how this new kind of policy, these new kind of protectionist policies could spur on a manufacturing renaissance in
I hate
America.
packing and
As now
moving.
we are finally having negotiations where it actually will make sense to make stuff in America. Since
Orly!
not only
Stop
are you
it!
dealing with tariffs, not
No!
only do you have to not worry about foreign governments or your own government, but now you will have free reign to actually make a product and sell it on the world market without governments taking a cut from it if this works out as Donald Trump wants it to work out.
If it works out.
That
We'll see.
cannot work here. But it's all about the negotiations here, which I think are important.
Money has been pledged for investments in our country. It's been pledged by foreign countries, 1.5 trillion by the UAE, 1 trillion, for example, by Saudi Arabia. Hyundai, $20 billion, 500 billion over 4 years, a new factory Apple is going to build in Texas, and they're going to expand out other facilities around the country. We have a Taiwanese company, Nissan and Honda. We're going to build plants in Mexico. They're now building them here, and I can go on and on. So I added up to be over $4 trillion committed only because of the threat of tariffs. I got to imagine that a lot of these countries are not going to take the tariffs that go into effect tonight at midnight, and they're going to want to negotiate. You think I'm wrong?
No, they're going to want to negotiate. But these are the same people who have been ripping us off for all these years. Remember, the tariffs are only part of the issue. It's these non-tariff trade barriers where they just won't let you trade. They provide subsidies back, like they charge this VAT tax, right? And they always say, oh, it's not the VAT tax. You know what some of these countries do? They take that 20% tax and they give it back to their producers, so they crush our people.
Yep, and it's fair to say here the international markets are very rigged unfairly against American companies, as American companies have been sold out by David Rockefeller, Richard Nixon, and Henry Kissinger. That, of course, went over to China and along with the CIA and said, "Oh, Mr. Mao, why don't we just do more? Why don't we just give you our manufacturing base? Slave labor? That sounds good. Let's go." Poof. And off with your jobs. There's not a lot of jobs. A lot of them are also going to be kind of taken away with automation and artificial intelligence here, but being able to have some kind of salvage of the American dream, being able to have a little bit more opportunities during these very hard economic times, being able to compete in the global world economy without having another tax on top of your stuff, being able to potentially use this as a scenario to get rid of the IRS and absolutely put in play the ERS, the External Revenue Services, being able to allow American companies to have less taxes, being able to have their business and enterprise run here domestically inside of the United States without massive amounts of government standing in their way, that right there is incredible. And that's what a lot of people are saying is a part of the Donald Trump plan here, as we've specifically had U.S. Senator Moreno explain this larger plan for creating, quote, the best tax environment on earth, which would incentivize private enterprise and businesses to grow and expand here.
We also have to remember we're creating the best tax environment on earth. We're going to make the 2017 tax reform permanent that put more money in working class Americans' pockets. We're going to get rid of taxes on overtime, tips, and Social Security. We've massively lowered regulations, especially around energy. So energy prices are lower. You see what's going on with eggs, what's going on with gas. So you're lowering the cost of everything else and then raising wages. So it doesn't, you got to look at, prices go up 2 or 3%, but if real wages go up 5 or 6, which is the opposite of what happened during Biden. You have massive inflation and wages couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
So Americans will feel, plus you got to remember, one of the things we haven't talked about well enough is $6 trillion in investment. I think the stock market is going to majorly correct upwards because when you pump $6 trillion of investment, that's only what's been announced so far. I think the stock market is going to go very, very high. Because you're investing $6 trillion in the United States. That's never happened before.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Donald Trump is definitely giving the medicine to the American public that tastes good. It's going to lower the markets. It's going to lower the stock market. It's going to lower people's valuations. It's something that will be very negative. There's also going to be other people seeing this as an opportunity to try to dump and destroy the U.S. economy and the U.S. dollar as much as they can, along with the Federal Reserve banking system and the other private banks out there. So this is why this is a kind of dangerous gambit scenario here. But clearly, there needs to be a correction here if there's going to be a real kind of upcycle here, because artificially just inflating this economy, artificially just putting money into it, when it is just being wasted away here as we become more and more indebted, has been a strategy that, again, hasn't been really working for the average American. We're working for all these kind of corporations, and these are real kind of protectionist policies that, if they work, could lower taxes, could incentivize more businesses, more manufacturing here inside of the United States, allow American people to have good paying jobs here, and allow us to compete in the international markets in a totally fair way, where these cheap products aren't brought in without any tariffs, and then you have to sell products that you make here. That makes no sense at all. This right here is something that could upend and change the global financial system. It is changing, and there's going to be a lot of pain and suffering associated with it at first. And if Donald Trump wavers and goes back to the old system, it would be a complete failure, and a lot of people will look at him and say, you did absolutely bad here. Now, there's a possibility here that about 9 months from now, there is an uptick in business and investment and jobs and opportunities, and now these changes take a process, take a period of time to take. Automatically, people are going to boo him, but again, Donald Trump needs to make all the radical moves now. Those people that he wants to arrest, he needs to arrest them now. The laws that he wants to pass, he needs to pass them now. Because when we get closer and closer to the midterm elections, it becomes more of a weaponized political cycle. They, of course, will be using everything against them. And I believe, personally, this is my own assessment, that the strategy, take the economy temporarily now, so it goes back up a lot, during the key moments in time during the midterms, when of course it's the most important, when the voter is going to be paying attention to the economy, which plays a major role in elections. I do believe Joe Biden didn't do as well as he did. The Democrats lost as much as they did because the economy was trash. If the economy is trash during the midterms, Trump's losing. If the economy is doing really good and it's booming, people are like, yeah, this actually works here. We should try out these laissez-faire. We should try out these policies that protect the American taxpayer. That much more. We should have more taxes. Yeah, we should get rid of all that. That right there. To be the biggest game changer. Will that actually work? What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. I appreciate your constructive criticism. We're here for you. Click subscribe. I don't know what's happening to the algorithm, but if you made it this far, sincerely.
Oh, come on! It keeps fucking rolling further and further and further and further!
Love you guys. Stay tuned for See You on LucaWilson.com. We will continue to release a lot more videos later on today on YouTube.com/WRPH.
Hey True Crime Besties, welcome back to an all-new episode of Serialously. Hey everybody, welcome back to an all-new episode of Serialously with me, Annie Reese. Happy Thursday. That feels like a Monday. I swear. I feel like this week has been dragging. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know. I've had a busy week, and so you would think that with a busy week, it would feel like the week is over sooner. But for me, I just kind of feel like it's still the beginning of the week. Anyway, I'm not here to complain. I'm here to talk with you guys. So hopefully you're having a better week than I am and getting ready for the weekend.
Probably should.
Let's see. Today in Headline Highlights, we have got so much to go over. We've got updates in the Ruby Frankie case because Jody is actually challenging her conviction now. There was talk that she wants to change her plea entirely, which, get a grip, lady. Are you for real right now? Be so for real. So we gotta talk about that. Lori Vallow is back in the news. Lori, and let me just tell you, this woman is honestly the true definition of batshit crazy, in my opinion. She's representing herself now in the trial that she's on trial in Arizona for the murder of her ex-husband Charles, or former husband Charles, I should say. And I don't even know where to begin. I mean, they started the week off with jury selection. A friend of mine was in the courtroom, and there weren't cameras in the courtroom for that piece of it, but she was in the courtroom and she was texting me, telling me how Lori was challenging all of these things, challenging on the basis of bias, and I don't even know what we're going to expect from this trial. I just hope that Charles and his family gets justice at the end of it, because this woman is putting everybody through the ringer. It's time to just lay down. It's time to lay down, Lori. So I'm going to break down everything going on there. And there's also some new cases that are honestly just disgusting and horrifying. One has to do with a child who got into his mom's apple juice that she left exposed, and there was a meth inside of it. Another one has to do with a father who woke up in the middle of the night and the mother was stabbing their 4 children. I mean, truly, speaking of evil, okay? Remember the stepmom who held her stepson captive for 20 years, allegedly? I'm saying allegedly because obviously she hasn't been convicted of it. And she, was neurotic and looked crazy and, 20 years of just pure hell. Well, she's been let out on bail. She made bail. And he's kind of asking now, why is she even allowed out on bail? Isn't that a flight risk? Could she possibly be a danger to herself or other people? New photos have also been released from the inside of that house, which, I'll just be honest, they look really, really bad, but you also do have to take into consideration that the house was set fire, so a lot of it, I think, is fire damage as well, but that doesn't excuse some of the other contents of what's going on in this house. So we just have a lot to talk about. I'm going to keep this intro short and sweet, though, because I know sometimes I can ramble, and some of you like it, some of you don't. Actually, I'm sorry, ADHD going off right now. I do have one more announcement. I am going back on tour. I believe it's going to be starting off in July, and I'm really excited about this because we are making this a much larger scale tour. So we are hitting, I think, 23 cities in total. And we're still finalizing a lot of them. But here, let me actually just read off to you some of the cities that are in the mix right now of discussion. And you can let me know, like, yeah, go to that city. Or like, no, Annie, you don't have anybody who listens to you in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we got Boston, New York, Philly, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Nashville, Raleigh, Atlanta, Orlando, Tampa, Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Francisco, LA, Portland, Seattle, San Diego, Phoenix, the UK, UK Pete's. I don't see Canada on here, but we did talk about doing Canada too. So it's not finalized, dates aren't 100%, but I just wanted to let you know. I've seen a lot of comments saying, are you going back out on tour? When's that going to happen? And we are planning it for, I believe, probably June or July. So stay tuned.
I'm scared it's going to fall while I'm in the bathroom. Be right back, I gotta pee.
In the comments what city, and maybe I can put I don't know how I can put a poll up with that many options, but I am curious to see like where the bulk of you guys are. I feel like I know from my analytics, but I always want to know where you guys are at. Where are you guys listening in from? Where are you sneaking in and listening from? Okay, now I'm really going to shut up for reals. Now let's start with the father in Sydney, Australia, who woke up in the middle of the night to find his wife stabbing their children. And this just kind of takes night terrors to an entirely new level. But he woke up and he found his 47-year-old wife stabbing their 3 children as they were asleep, which I don't even know how you respond in a moment like that. I would imagine you just go irate, you freeze. I honestly don't even know. Now this father, he was thinking very quickly on his feet because he jumped into action. At first, the detectives say that what woke him up was that he heard his children screaming, which imagine that horror in and of itself, right? But then when he went to investigate, that's when he saw his wife stabbing them. So he, like I said, he jumped into action, he grabbed the knife away from her, and then he called 911. Now, as I said, all 3 kids were asleep in their bedrooms during this attack, and they are 10 years old, 13 years old, and 16 years old. They all, unfortunately, suffered stab wounds, and the 10-year-old boy had 2 stab wounds, while the 13-year-old girl had 3 stab wounds, and the 16-year-old girl had 1 stab wound, along with topside, not superficial cuts, but nothing that was like too deeply penetrated. But as if this wasn't so disturbing and heartbreaking already, get this. The 16-year-old girl is a paraplegic. Can you even wrap your mind around that? First of all, what kind of mother, father, whomever would do something like that to somebody who literally cannot even defend themselves in any sort of way? But your own child who's sitting there defenseless, who then, imagine that fear in her mind when she sees her mother coming at her, and I know she was asleep.
Oh, I don't even want to think about upstairs.
And the father even heard the screaming, but it's like she wakes up and she can't defend herself, and she just is kind of, laying there as a victim, waiting, having her mother inflict this on her. It's horrible every way you look at it. Now, thankfully,
all right, let's go bring that shelf over there.
And then they were immediately taken to the hospital where doctors were able to successfully get them into stable condition. Now, when the authorities got to the home at around 5:15 a.m., they realized that the mother had also turned the knife on herself and stabbed herself multiple times. So the whole thing looked like it was some sort of attempted murder type of situation, which is really interesting because anytime we have seen cases in which familicide, especially when it's the mother's doing, and family annihilation, very rarely is a weapon or a knife used. And I say that because, and I don't remember, I'd have to look it up, I don't remember the exact statistics, but I do know that women, whether they are going to take their own lives or they plan to take children's lives and their own, they do not do it in an overly violent way. Usually they will of suffocation, bath, drowning, shot, or poisoning, things like that. Where it's I think this is not the right expression, but it's the only way I know how to describe
Oh, come on.
the silent killer, right? Where it's not as gory, it's not as violent. So now, hearing that this is being investigated as a possible situation, and that she was using a knife, not only for the children but herself, that definitely takes.
She's after something. She's after something. She's after something.
Opinion of what kind of situation this is and what what was really going on in her mind. I don't know. I don't know her reasons.
She's fucking going after something.
We're going to talk about some of it in a moment here. But it's just, the reason I say all of this is because it's something that we don't often see. It's usually one of those other more silent, even hands-on, yes, with especially with suffocation and drowning.
She's fucking going after something.
So anyways, she attempted
Get him, girl, get him.
Person with the intent to murder. Now, like I said, we are still unclear of the exact.
Get him. Get him. Get him. So yeah, I came in the house this morning, or just now, whatever, a little while ago. And I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, great. Great. There's a fucking turd on that. I cleaned that up yesterday, so definitely still in here. So upset about that. Not much I could do, but anyway. You scared me. I thought you were next to my head. Okay, so, I'm going to put the chair here. I'm going to put that little shelf in the kitchen probably. So I just need to keep it out of the way for now. Okay, so let's stress out for a while. Okay.
But what a lot of people are, of course, wondering is how the heck did this even happen? It was a complete shock to the entire community, and the police also had said that this was the very first time that they've ever responded to this address.
Oh, I know what I can do. All right, I got this.
Domestic situation, complaints, CPS investigation, nothing. The neighbors also described them as, quote, generally really nice people. The detective on this case has also spoken out and said they wish they knew that this family was going through something so that possibly they could have intervened before all of this came to a head and before all of this happened. The neighbors also have said that yes, the family usually did keep to themselves. They were pretty quiet, but they also said how they would come over for Christmas and celebrate the holiday. They would bring cookies, chocolates for the kids, and be warm and welcoming. Just nice neighborly stuff. So it seems as though, as of right now, from what we know, it seems like this happened out of nowhere. Just baffling and very, very sad. Now, the only detail that the police have released about this attack is that before the stabbing, the mother was allegedly acting erratically. And that is their direct word, erratically. I'm not throwing that out there. So we don't know if that was maybe some sort of mental or psychotic break, if there was something else that she was maybe suffering from, underlying issues, I don't know. They didn't really elaborate on what that means. The police also ended up finding the weapon inside the house, which was a bloody kitchen knife. The woman has been refused bail, but she is set to appear in court this week. So the police are taking this case as a potential attempted murder, and we will see where it goes and what we learn. And I guess it also kind of just goes to show you really never know what's going on inside somebody else's house, even your neighbors, right? They can be warm, loving, inviting, happy, and you never really know what somebody is struggling with, what is going on inside that house, and what is happening behind those walls that is, like this woman who held her stepson captive allegedly for 20 years. It's like, and I don't know if that's where I get the intrusive thoughts. I think I talked about this last week or maybe the week before, but I don't know if it's normal or not, but It is something that I think about all the time. No matter where I am, if I'm driving down the road or in an unknown, like on vacation or even on a flight, something that always enters my mind is how many people in these houses that I'm passing right now are being held against their will. How many people on this plane have killed somebody? How many
Those
people
are the
on
things
this
you think
plane
of?
are
Damn,
here
girl.
with somebody who is abusing them? And I don't think that's healthy at all. Like, don't get me wrong, for even a split second, guys, I know it's not healthy. I unfortunately think it's probably more common than I realize, which I really hope not, because I hope people aren't having those thoughts like me all the time. But I did see somebody tell me recently when I mentioned this, they're like, Annie, that's a form of OCD. You get intrusive thoughts. Like, you can definitely get on, I think they had said you can get on medication or like seek help to correct that. Which
Take medication. Don't just fucking get over it.
Affecting my day to day, but I only bring it up because it's like, it's something that always is in the back of my mind. And it kind of goes back to this case too. Again, you never know what's going on behind closed doors in somebody's house. And it's a really scary thing to think about. Now let's talk about this other case with this 5-year-old boy who drank this apple juice that was apparently laced with meth. Because,
like, why would you lace meth? That's trying to kill a kid. I'm sorry.
That's never gonna get into like laced meth apple juice. I'm not, smoking meth or have things laying around, but like it is like a new fear unlocked because it just shows that I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna shut up and stop talking. So this case happened in Florida, and like I said, it was a 5-year-old little boy, and he unfortunately died after this happened. He drank this apple juice that had methamphetamine in it. The mother in all of this was arrested last week, and she's now facing a manslaughter charge. But let's rewind a little bit. So the mother is 37-year-old Heather Opsinks, and she lived in Riviera Beach, which is a city in Florida. She lived actually in the Sands Hotel.
Fucking
which is
Riviera!
kind of like a hotel motel type of area, and that's where she lived with her 5-year-old son. But apparently one day Heather just left a bottle of juice open in the fridge, and this bottle had methamphetamine in it. Which I don't know if this was intentional. I'm not very well versed in the drug world, guys, I'll be honest. But from what I do know, and from cases I've covered, I've never really heard of drug users lacing their own juice or food with drugs. I feel like usually they're just like smoking it from the pipe or foil or however, whatever drug it is, using it however is the most potent. So I don't know if this is like something that people do, or if maybe this was intentional and she laced juice of all things with the intention of her child taking it. There was, which case was it? Oh, gosh, what was it? Was it Victoria Martin's in New Mexico? I think that it was. And it was a little girl and her mother was giving her meth. And I don't know, again, I'm just going to be honest, guys, and take this for what it is. I'm not very well versed in drugs.
Dude, I think I want to put all these in my fucking
when you give somebody meth, they're like super hyperactive and awake all hours and, very high energy, which I don't know why you would want to give a child that, if I'm going to be honest. Like, if anything, I feel like you're trying to get the kids to calm down and go to sleep at a decent hour. But I do, now something is coming back to me. I think that when I covered that case of Victoria Martin's, and I believe that's the one it was, I'm pretty confident, I'm like 98% certain. I feel like I remember hearing that, is it that for children it has the adverse effects? I don't know if that's entirely right, but almost that it is more of something that calms them down, which I could be wrong. But my point in all of this, and I apologize for the rant, is do people just put meth in their juice and put it in the fridge, or does it seem like this was something more deliberately done? So after this open juice bottle was left in the fridge, the 5-year-old was left with a babysitter, while Heather was allegedly outside of this hotel room washing this fucking cooler. So the child went to the fridge looking for something to eat or drink, and then drank this apple juice. But he knew that something was wrong, because he immediately spit this juice out and complained it to the babysitter, saying that it tasted weird. But all of a sudden, the 5-year-old then started shivering, sweating, and shaking. Then his head hung down and his body went stiff. The babysitter also noticed that he was very, very cold and that there were rashes forming all over his skin. He then, and this is very graphic, guys, so I apologize.
Well, I don't want to hear it. La 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 la. Oh, wrong button.
Oh boy, Donald Trump is having them squealing today, as of course it's the perfect orchestra.
Yeah, I don't know. I do want to hear the shit about Nicole Kissinger, but I don't want to hear that.
Thank God. get him off the face of the earth, and it's just been nightmare after nightmare. But now she's back in the courtroom because she also is being charged with conspiring to kill her fourth husband, the husband before Chad, Charles Vallow. Now, I know that that was a lot. I just threw a lot at you. So let me rewind a little bit to understand exactly how we got here. So by the time that Lori married her husband before Charles, back in 2006, she had kids from her past marriages. One of them was Tylee Ryan, and then one of them was JJ, who actually was adopted through their family. And
molecular biology textbook.
You guys already know everything.
Travel Guide to the USA.
After she had been married to Charles.
And then I have another one, an introduction into genetic analysis.
That's when she met Chad Daybell. And like I said, he was also Mormon. He had these radical beliefs. They focused on reincarnation, the apocalypse, the end of the world, all of these things. And they just immediately fell for each other, clicked, and were in love. But then, of course, things started spiraling. Lori got very, very into all of this doomsday stuff. And in that, her marriage to Charles was starting to fall apart. He was the evil one. She called him by saying that his body had been taken over by a new spirit. Was it Ned Stark or Ned something? Ned Stark, no, that's Game of Thrones. But like, had renamed him, saying it's not even Charles in your body anymore. It's now
American
this new
home
evil spirit. And so her, Chad, and her brother Alex Cox, who I believe was more like her henchman in a weird way, he like idolized Lori, and it was honestly kind of gives Game of Thrones vibes, if I'm going to be real. If you know, you know. But they basically conspired, saying Charles needs to, be killed. He can't, we need his life insurance policy. He's evil, all of these things. Charles was very scared. He was seen calling the police on body cam footage where he said, like, I'm worried that my wife is going to try and kill me. Here's all of the concerning things that she has said to me. All of this is documented. All of it is on record. And this is a clip I want to play for you where he's speaking about her while they were still married, before the divorce was even filed.
I tried to support as much as I could, but it's gotten really, really bad. She's out of break. She says, I'm Nick Snyder. I'm taking over Charles' wife. And Charles will be killed. I'm going to kill you. You'll be murdered today or tomorrow. I can do it if I break it like Crystal. Oh, she gets still Crystal blasting. She does.
So who's Nick Snyder?
So then fast forward, and one day in July, Charles went over to pick up his son JJ from Lori's rental home because they were estranged at this point. They had been living apart. She had been in Hawaii for weeks, all of these things. And her brother Alex was at this house. Then a fight broke out between Charles and Alex, allegedly. But it ended in Alex shooting and killing Charles. Now, Alex claimed that he shot Charles in self-defense, and also that he didn't feel bad for shooting him because, remember, Charles was, quote, a zombie, possessed, he was attacking, he was abusive, all of these things. But he claimed self-defense. Now, one of the most telling parts of my books, and again, if you want the full deep dive, guys, go with
Trees of America,
Cliff Note version. But one of the weirdest things about this is on the day that Charles was killed, Lori is being notified, and she is seen on interrogation and body cam footage, and she's very casual, talking about how she was going to have a pool party, talking about how, I hope the neighbors don't think we're causing a fuss. Like, nothing that you would expect from a now widow or a grieving wife, former wife, spouse. And just take a listen to this little snippet.
Yeah, and then I was kind of turned around. And we were all really in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot. And
so you heard the shot? Did you actually see the shot, or did you just hear it?
Tarot and you.
Kids to the kitchen to get away from him, and so back around. So I don't know if he was in the house.
So I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, so I didn't see the shot. I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground.
Living in your RV.
I was freaking out. And so
living abroad.
I was just freaking out. I just went into mom and like, I gotta go to get JJ to school, I gotta get to the kids. I just felt like I gotta get to the kids. And so I just went outside and to see if they were in there okay. I didn't want them coming back in the house when all that was going on. And got JJ in the car, and he was trying to come in, and Tylee was like looking at me with like the crazy eyes, like what just happened. And I told her to get in the car and let him take JJ to school. And That's not.
So now that Charles was out of the picture, that's when she moved to Idaho with Chad, with her 2 children, and then we know what hellish activities came from that, right? So now we know that she has already been convicted of the murder of her 2 children, and for all the horrible things that they did there, Chad as well. But now she's also being charged with the death of her husband, Charles, because yes, he was shot by Lori's brother, Alex, but she's being charged with conspiracy to commit that murder. She's also being charged with attempted murder of a man named Brandon Boudreaux, who was the ex-husband of Lori's niece. And her niece is also involved in this whole weird cult situation. So the conspiracy to commit murder charges and the attempted murder charges are being tried separately. And Lori, who has denied all of these past charges, is also pleading not guilty to these ones. But the craziest part about all of this is she's representing herself in court. And I don't want to say she's done a good job because it hasn't really been kicked off in a big way, but she's definitely a lot smarter than I think I was giving her credit for. Even just kind of her legal jargon and what she's saying. I don't think she's going to convince anyone on the jury. I truly don't. But I gotta give it to her. She's actually like kind of holding her own in terms it's comical and she's definitely messing up a lot, but she's kind of holding her own more than I probably would ever be able to. She also has been studying case law a lot during her time in prison, which has really helped prepare her for this. She said that she was having trouble communicating with her legal team while she was in prison, so because of that, I guess she thought that it was, time for her to take it upon herself and just represent herself, which I don't know. But this is what she said to the judge about her communication troubles. Take a listen.
In discovery, I have interviews with police on every single one of the witnesses that are on my list.
Okay.
So I know that they had the addresses. I know that we were trying to get the addresses to them in the quickest way possible. And where I am at the jail, the communication is very difficult for me to get a hold of my investigator, to get a hold of my paralegal. I'm 23 hours a day locked down. If I don't have Wi-Fi, I don't have a phone. If I don't have battery, I don't have a phone. I don't have access to get to people. So I understand the time constraints, and we're doing the best that we can.
So jury selection happened earlier this week. Cameras were not allowed in the courtroom for that, but cameras will be in the courtroom, to my knowledge, for the rest of the trial. So we will definitely see what happens. If you guys want me to be on this and give you guys trial updates, I certainly will. We did it for her first trial, but I didn't really have plans to do it this go round, but if you want me to, I definitely can recap it for you. But let me know. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for everything to kind of kick off and get another conviction for this lunatic, you can always go back and watch that Dateline that she did with Keith, because you'll kind of just see it's kind of how she's representing herself. It's mirrored very similarly. She's aggressive. She's making some sort of baseless claims. She's just very hyper strung, of course, denying all the accusations, acting as though she knows best and that everybody else doesn't even know what she has seen and bear witness to when she spoke with Jesus, all the things. So you can go take a listen. Now let's talk about another cult mom who is on the list, and that's Ruby Franke. And we're not only going to be talking about her today, but also her counterpart, Jodi Hildebrandt. Disgusting Jodi Hildebrandt. And I'm sure it's no surprise to you that we're still talking about the infamous Ruby Franke, who's the family blogger turned actual devil. But what's interesting to see is that her children are actually speaking out with the media. In the past couple of months, Ruby's oldest son and her daughter have appeared on Good Morning America. They've been advocating for themselves on social media as well. And what are they advocating for? Well, it's the downsides of family vlogging. Sherry and Chad Franke have said that families vlogging their little kids is not only unethical, but also dangerous. And they said that they definitely will not follow in Jodi's footsteps. Sherry has also talked about how it basically makes your family a full-time job, always making the kids pose for the camera or broadcasting their private lives for views and just really exploiting them. It also forces your kids into this lifestyle, which they don't really even have a say in. Sherry also said, quote, "There is no such thing as a moral or ethical family vlogger," which I think is really powerful, but take a listen to this.
I mean, those ones that do just put their kids on camera all the time.
I think Jodi brought out the worst in her, and that's how it got to, where it's ended up. I do think that family vlogging and like family content is unethical.
Now, Chad has also appeared on Good Morning America, and while he says that he definitely does see a family in his future, he definitely will not ever do family vlogging. He says that he has learned from his mom's mistakes and that he doesn't ever want any other kids to go through the same thing that he and his siblings went through. And here's a clip from his interview. Take a listen.
I eventually want to have a family, and I've learned from my mom's mistakes. We're shutting off social media, we're shutting off the cameras. I'm not going to be using any kid as an employee.
At what point did it all change?
I think once companies started coming to us offering big money for scripts.
Be excited and tell them where your name came from, even if you have to fake it. Fake being happy. Okay? I don't know if I can right now.
It was a chaotic experience. So lots of yelling, lots of snapping, and lots of timeouts in the corner.
Now you can hear the heartbreak in his voice, and it's very, very sad that it took all of this to finally come to a boiling point for change to actually happen and for people to recognize what was not only going on with this family, but the dangers of family vlogging as a whole. I don't know if you saw the Hulu's docuseries that was titled The Devil in My Family, The Fall of Ruby Franke, but it showed a ton of the footage behind the scenes, what was going on in that house. Sherry also released her book called The House of My Mother, A Daughter's Quest for Freedom. She released that in January, where she gave more of a personal firsthand account of what she witnessed, what those days were like with Ruby and Jody, and what really transpired over the years. But it's sad that it took all of this to really bring light to what I believe is a much larger issue, and that is family vlogging. However, on the brighter side of things, because all of this has been exposed, the Franke family is one of the main reasons that a new law just got signed in Utah. It got signed on March 25th, and it's meant to protect child influencers or victims of family vlogging. And basically, this law gives adults the right to erase any content from the media once they turn 18. So anything that is posted by their parents or anyone in their family for that matter, once the kid turns 18, it's their right to scrub it off the internet. The law also forces the parents to set money aside for the kids who they are posting online. So while it's not a perfect law, because I think in a perfect world we would say they can't even post their children online to begin with, at least there are now protections being put in place that were never there before. Because before, people could just video their child all day, every day, getting money, monetizing off of it, getting brand deals, and never giving a cent of that to their child. And never even allowing their child to have a say in what is being posted online, what private moments are being shared, any of it. So now at least there are certain protections, although not the best, that are being put into place, such as being able to scrub their stuff from the internet once they turn 18, making sure that there is money set aside for them from whatever they were a part of. And I don't know, it's something, right? It's a step in the right direction. Ruby's ex-husband, Kevin, who y'all know how I feel about him, right? He also testified, though, in support of this law. And look, although I have my personal opinions about Kevin, which, if you don't know what those are, I did do, like, a deep dive just into Kevin recently, where I kind of dragged his ass a little bit, because he's trying to say he didn't know how bad it was, that Ruby is the evil one in all of this, and he just wants to protect his children, which, to me, I'm kind of like, no, I call bullshit that, because you were there when a lot of this was going down. Maybe not to the extreme level in which your son was finally rescued from, but you certainly were inflicting this kind of punishment and behavior and lifestyle when you were with Ruby. And you documented it. You put it on camera and put it on the internet too. So in my opinion, like, you don't get a pass. You do not get to skate by this. So, but regardless, my point in saying that is, regardless whatever my opinions are about him, I do hope that the Franke children find a way to come out of this in a healthy way, healthy and healed, and that they're able to move on with their futures. But I just can't imagine, how you even begin to heal from that. Now, as I said, regarding this case, there is also a brand new update regarding Jody Hildebrandt in all of this, and this vile, disgusting human being, Jody Hildebrandt. As if this woman wasn't on my nerves enough, she's now challenging her conviction. So if you don't remember, Jody pleaded guilty to 4 counts of aggravated. She was sentenced to 4 consecutive prison sentences of 1 to 15 years, which I kind of take issue with anyway, because that means on the lighter side, she may only serve 4 years in prison, yet on the high side, it could be 60 years, but it's like, that's a pretty big swing, right? Same for Ruby as well. But anyway, now she's saying she, quote, didn't know her rights when she entered that guilty plea. You know what? Look, chick, take it as a win. You on the low side could only be serving 4 years. Now you're going to have the audacity to claim you didn't know your rights and you're challenging the plea. Be so for real right now. I mean, give me a break. She's even calling the plea agreement that she willingly entered into unlawful. Unlawful. Which, hi Jody, do you know what else is unlawful? Abusing children, holding them captive, restraining them, ruining families. That's unlawful. Not you actually paying the price for what you did. I mean, come on. But Jody is saying she didn't understand the full nature of the guilty plea and that her lawyer wasn't completely honest with her about everything during the hearings, during the plea, during all of that. And this is a statement from a prosecutor in the case. Take a listen.
We weren't expecting this from Jody, but I can't say that we're super surprised either. I'm super confident that the entry of her plea will hold up and that she won't be able to show that she knowingly and voluntarily didn't enter it.
Now look, I'm sure that Jody will never stop trying to manipulate the situation in some way, right? I've even heard and been told from people very close to this whole case and people in this case that she's still running connections, her cult, from prison. So I don't think she's ever going to stop trying to manipulate things and spin the narrative. That's just the kind of woman that she is. However, we'll see if this holds any water, right? We'll see what happens. Ruby is still currently serving out her 4 consecutive prison sentences as well, which again could be anywhere from 4 to 60 years in total. I hope 60. But we haven't really heard any new developments with her yet. I'm sure we probably will. I hope not, but I imagine we will. And I guess we'll just go from there. Lastly, there appears to have been a Nicole Kessinger spotting over the weekend. I know, guys. I was kind of just as bored as you were because we haven't seen Nicole Kessinger in the wild since 2018 when everything first went down with Chris Watts. And for those of you who have no idea who Nicole is, let me just give you a little bit of a rundown. Nicole Kessinger was Chris Watts' mistress. And Chris Watts is the horrific family annihilator. I'm sure you've heard of him. But we, probably a year ago, maybe a little less than that, did a full-on deep dive into Nicole Kessinger because it's my personal belief, and I know a lot of you agree with me, some of you don't, that's okay, but it's my personal belief that Nicole knew way more than she let on. Because when we analyzed her, I believe it was a 4-hour interrogation, we looked through her cell phone records, where she pinged, all of these things, there was a lot of evidence, in my opinion, that tied her directly to either maybe not being involved in the planning and execution of this, but certainly knowing what was going on or helping with trying to cover it up. And what was so weird is when she went in for questioning, she immediately brought her dad in the room with her, who has a lot of connections with law enforcement. And it just felt really weird, right? And again, things with her phone pings where she said that she wasn't at Chris's house yet. In all of her history for the entire time they were having the affair, her phone only pinged at the tower near his house whenever she had admitted to spending the night or being there. And then, sure enough, we see a phone ping from the morning of the murders. She also didn't clock into work until like 3 p.m. that day. She only stayed for, I think it was under an hour, and she just called, when she got to work, she called her spiritual guru, then she left. I mean, a lot of weird stuff, which I actually will link in the show notes of this episode, the full deep dive I did on Nicole. And maybe we should do another one soon. Let me know in the comments if you want another one, but I will link that old one. But anyways, apparently she was spotted over the weekend in Montana. Now, it's a very quick video. It's really hard to catch, but she's at a funeral of a family friend, allegedly. So she's walking down the, what would you call it? I guess the procession, almost looking like she's exiting. And I don't know if it was a fixed camera that was maybe live streaming the service, or if somebody in the, viewing the funeral and the service recorded her for some reason. But you see her walking out, and it hasn't been confirmed that it's her. But of course, the sneaks online they are going wild. And when you pull a side by side, at first I didn't know because the person in this video is a little bit heavier than Nicole was, but then again, it also has been 7 years, so she's a little bit heavier. She has the same kind of hair, but when I of course did my detective work, which is internet detective at best, but I did screenshots of many pictures of her in the past with screenshots of this side by side, to where I was literally doing like the mirror imaging where you layer pictures on top of each other, because I wanted to, I'm so psychotic, I know, but I wanted to see if the attributes were the same. And her hairline looks the same. The exact location in which her hair is parted, which isn't on the side, isn't on the middle, but it's somewhere in between. She also kind of has like this little tiny cowlick, the eyebrow arch. I believe this was Nicole. Now, what's interesting, and I've heard this theory, but I've never put much weight into it, and I want to be clear, I'm not putting a lot of weight into it now either. But what I did see is a lot of people commenting on these viral videos of her now, of this particular video, but that has been shared, you know, everywhere, and saying that they believe that she is the mother of Chris's child. Now, again, that is super sensationalistic, or whatever word I'm looking for, you know what I'm talking about, salacious, but people say she was pregnant, and then that's why she went into, a lot of people say, witness protection, just flew off the radar, we never heard from her, because she was pregnant with this child. I don't know if that's true. That would mean that she would have now, what, a 6-year-old, I would imagine, 6 or 7. I don't know if that's true, but it got people talking about it again. And I want to be clear too, people weren't just making that assertion because of the weight gain, because obviously, yes, you gain weight when you are pregnant, but she obviously isn't pregnant anymore. I think that's just, unfortunately, hey, I'm a woman too, it comes with age, it just happens sometimes. But they were commenting about how they do believe that she had mothered Chris's child. Again, I don't know if that's true, maybe it is, but we know that we have not seen any sight of her, not a sighting, not a picture, not a video, in 7 years. So, as you know and can imagine, the internet went wild. Now, for those of you listening to the audio version of this, I will link the video on my Instagram so you can watch it for yourself. My Instagram handle is @_AmyElise. But I don't know. We'll see. Again, let me know if you want a new fresh deep dive into Nicole. Not necessarily everything that monster Chris Watts did, but Nicole herself, because there's a lot of weird stuff when you really dig into that woman. But I will leave the other existing deep dive for you too. All right, guys, that's it for this week's headline highlights. Sorry, I know I was kind of all over the place a little bit there for a minute, but hopefully, you know, I was able to convey the gist of it. I will be back with you on Monday with an all-new deep dive into a case. It is a doozy. It's one that I thought I knew all the details about, and then when I really got into it, I realized I didn't. So we have that on Monday. We, of course, have our deep dives throughout the week over on our YouTube channel, 10 to Life. And if you ever feel like you need more content and you're running out of things to listen to, we have a whole library right now on Apple Podcasts and on Patreon, where you can listen to about 80 extra
God damn, how long
DVDs? Jesus Christ,
who doesn't have a DVD player until like a week ago?
Members. And we've talked about some breaking cases that are going on in the news right now. Like last week, I talked all about the doctor in Hawaii who tried to push his wife off the cliff. He's the anesthesiologist. And not only did he try to take a selfie with her and then push her off the cliff, but then he took a rock and hit her allegedly 10 times in the head with it. He also tried to inject her with 2 different syringes. Then he fled on foot. She luckily survived, but I break down that whole case because apparently back in December he started accusing her of having an affair. Then he started monitoring her text messages, her phone calls, like all sorts of stuff. So that I released last Friday. We also have a bunch of other cases with like scam artists, best friends who plotted murders of their best friends, some of the other breaking cases that are out there. So you can go take a listen and you can see all of those titles and what's available on Patreon again, or even on the podcast app. All right, other than that, I'm going to sign off. I'm about to go record another video that I will be airing very soon. And until the next one, guys, be nice, don't kill people, don't join a cult, and like stay away from connections with Jody Hildebrandt, for real. All right, guys, take care. I will talk with you soon. Bye.
I have all my purses and stuff. Okay, how am I gonna get this chair in here? Oh God. I should just get the chair last because I gotta do kitchen things and then move this thing before I can even do that. So that's not gonna happen right now. I don't know, maybe I could get it through that spot. Okay, you can get it in the front door right the second though, Heather. You gotta move shit around anyway. So I still have this whole side of the house to fucking deal with. And this insulation is in the way. I really need to get this put up, but I just don't have the time. I can't put the insulation up until I get the fucking roof done. So it's just like, it's not something I can deal with right now. Oh, well, hello there, Sunny Kitty. She's sitting in the sunlight right in the front door. Cute. Okay, as long as I can get through. Good. Sorry, Mom, but I didn't mean to scare you. A little toasty in here. Okay. I'm not sure how the fuck I'm gonna do this, but we're gonna try, I guess. Fuck. Now the hard part. Come on, motherfucker. Just turn. Get in the door. There you go. There you go. Oh, God. Come on, just a little bit more. Alright, now me get out of the way. And of course it's caught on my fucking overalls. There we go. There we go. I fucking did it. Oops. Okay, where'd the garbage bag go? There it is. Okay. Super almost there, dude. The liquid IV apparently got knocked underneath the chair. And there's like fucking powder everywhere. Pretty cool. My Elliot's candies. Oh, of course, that fell right through that. Oh, good, there it is. I got 2 of them, so I can give Josh this one back. This one was from Josh's dad, or stepdad. It's fucking nice. Fucking dog hair, dude. I got half of mine to shave the dog today. Oh, those are clean. Okay, where's the books? I just saw a book. Ow! Book. Barack Obama, The Audacity of Hope. Don't step on that. Wait. Okay, now you can step there. And he's like, whoa, what is going on in here? What is going on? More DVDs. The boys got me one of my favorite movies. This movie's hilarious. For my birthday. My dudes got it for me. Alright, now I've got that done. And that's gotta go. And this is gotta go. The treadmill. That's mine. This is mine. Watch out, girl. Alright, and then I got the refrigerators, but I can't do that until I clean the kitchen, so I'm just gonna have to like start doing that, I suppose. Oh, I don't wanna. Alright, well, I guess I'll bring the dog bowl with me, and the cat's food. Come on, man. Come eat your food over here. Come on. Are you hungry? Come on. Come on. Come on, okay. We're officially moved in now. Dog bowls are here. Come on, Key. Come on, Key. Come on, Key. Are you hungry? Come on, Key. Mommy. Cookie. high up place for her food. It's right here for now. There she is! Come here! Come on. What the fuck? Oh, I knocked down the drills. Yep, good job. You knew we were gonna do that. Ricky! There you go. You turned the wrong way, girl. Dog food there. That'll lure the rats. And then the cat can get them. Okay, let me get your water bowl and then we'll, let me get some power going and stuff. Hold on. Just give me 1 minute. I'll come get you. Yes. Oh, I can't take that because if I do, then I'm not going to have power to my refrigerator until I get back. So let's just do this first. Oh no, I forgot I was holding that. There we go. Why didn't I do that before? Damn. Of course I figured that out on the day I'm leaving. Okay. That little shit rocket has been pissing at the water bowl. God bless his little demon puppy heart. Is it still muted? Someone must have called while I was doing stuff. If someone calls, it automatically mutes it no matter what, and it doesn't turn it back on. And it's freezing cold instantly. Watch out. You've still got a little bit of shade. I've got a couple more minutes, bud. Smart girl. So since the water's like leaking in the window over here, I'm just gonna put a towel down and put his water bowl there. this thing over now. Was that water just dripping from the ceiling just now? Couldn't be. Could not be. No. What was on it? Oh. Spiders and shit. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, girl, it's fresh water. Hold on, dude. I'm coming. Ooh, that's so much better. Instant breeze in the house. Okay. Let's go get some more stuff. Move, girl! Jesus Christ! Get the fuck out of my feet. Okay, hold on. Just a couple more minutes. I know, buddy. I'm almost there. Okay. I'm going. I can go here because it's clean. Damn, it's a lot of yarn. It's pretty much all yarn. Stuff right here. There. This right here for now. Oh, I'm sloshing. Duh. I'm sloshing around. What's in my pocket? Oh. washed before I use it. On the mattress cover, the new one I just bought. Until I buy sheets or wash sheets. Oops, wrong one. Okay, buddy, I'm like trying my best. You still got shadow. You're good. It's cool out. It's not hot. Okay. Where's the more heavier duty tube? Yes, good. That's a stronger cord than the one I use for my vacuum. Okay. I know, I can't do anything just yet, guys. There's just nothing, I can't do anything yet. Okay. Oh, there's a remote to my treadmill. This needs to go. This is a treadmill. There we go. I got this. There. Well, that's a change. Alright, so I can leave this stuff there for now. Leave that there for now. I'll go make the bed. Then I'll start bringing over my bedding. Then I'll bring over the rest of this shit. I'll bring my dog over now, too. Alright. We're there, dude. Just gotta move the refrigerators. But Adam's gonna have to help me with that. Oh, I have to move that box too. I'm gonna come and get you right now, okay? So just one more second. Let me get this bin and then I'm gonna come get you. I know. Everybody wants me to do the thing for them. Oh, there's Brad. Hello, hello. You fucking asshole. Took the fucking door. Squished with it. Come on. One thing it could get caught on, it will. Damn it. It's always real good for the... Oh my God. There's your bed when Elliot's not here. Yeah, that's for you. All right, let's make the bed. Aw, man. Oh. Oh. I gotta though. Sorry, girl. Miss Money Bunny. Miss Kitty ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you fucking kidding me? Mm-hmm. Yeah. These fucking phone cases are bullshit. Bullshit. Oh yeah. They fucking work so great. This one better work this time. Better fucking work. Is it working now? Is it muted still? Mean Bean. Miss ma'am. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I need you to move. Yep, there's definitely water still dripping from there. Gotta get on the roof today. Kitty cat. You gotta move, girl. Hangers. Hopefully you can go in your homes. Oh hell yeah, just barely enough room. That's nice. Literally just like barely enough room to get these drawers in. That is fucking crazy. Smells really good over here. Smells like cleaning solution. Moon moon. I guess I'm about to find out if my bed is a queen or a full. Honey, hey, you gotta move, girl. Okay. Hey, I'm sorry, you gotta move. Look at her in the box. Oh, she got out. Put her in the little box there. It is fucking hot. Does it not have like a soft side? Oh yeah, okay it does, yes. Okay. This side up. Just like putting a giant pillowcase on. Oh, cool. Just knocked all that shit down. Yeah, great. Awesome. Fun times. Literally found the stuff for my boy. Had it all special and safe. Should shoes off. So you're maybe not so fucking hot. That better be spray and not fucking mouth pee. What, dude? Bro, it's fucking hot in this motherfucker. We're about to be fucking overly hot and roasting, like in a bad way. No air conditioning. So awesome. What? What? This is it. So I guess I have a full size bed. Oh, come on, Ed. Stop going on the fucking plastic, you fucking bitch. Fucking hate that, dude, when they put the flap of plastic right on the inside of the zipper, so every inch you move is fucking plastic getting caught in the zipper. It's fucking retarded. Just give us, like, literally, like, a little bit more of a fucking... Oh, it's caught again! Dude, I'm fucking exhausted mentally and physically from all the work that I've been doing. And I don't have the fucking sanity for this. Need to get a cover on my bed ASAP. Orly, that's not a good place to be, dude. swear to God, if he gets up on this bed, I'm gonna be so mad. Ah! No! 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 Go! Go! That way! Go! Go! Oh! Dadgummit. Yes, there you go. That is your spot. Good job. You're not allowed on the bed. No more bed for you. I want to live in some fucking cleanliness. At least my own private little sanctuary of cleanliness. No dogs allowed on the bed. Knew he was going to do that, dude. I knew it. Knew it. I knew it. Knew that's why he was whining over here. I knew it. Yeah, my phone died. It's charging now. Oh, cool. Just totally just break your charger, Heather. Good shit. So tired of getting snagged up on shit. These fucking boots are big on my feet. Make me fucking walk awkwardly in tight spaces. Oh gosh, knocking every fucking thing over. It's hot in here. I'm irritated as fuck. I'm tired. There's a mama. So tired. Brain's going wonky. Alright, I'm gonna go. Oh, look at that. That's a happy kitty right there. Come on, Bunch. You're such a good girl. You gonna lay down? Lay down. She's so good. Yes, 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 yes. Alright, no, he's seen video, like, a little bit, but he hasn't seen it like it is right now. Dude, the bus is, like, sinking to the back corner, and the books are kind of, like, leaning. A little nervous about the back tire being so on the soft edge. Really wish this was, like, somewhere safe. Oh, my God. Fuck yes. Animals got their spots. I'm a happy mom. Okay. I need to, like, I don't know, do something. But I don't know what it is. I really need to, like, clean the whole fucking kitchen. I just can't. Tired. I gotta, like, stop for the day. I think I've been going too hard. Maybe I'll just take a little break. Maybe I do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a little break. No, I'm not parked on gravel. I'm parked on a literal... Oops. I'm parked on a literal creek thing, and it goes basically... My back end is hanging over the water. And it's like all soft mud all right here. Like, my tire is about that deep in it right now, and it keeps getting deeper. The bus is definitely way more tilted than it was when I first moved here, and I told Adam, I was like, you know, I like maybe should like move the bus forward some or something, because like it's sinking, but I don't have batteries. I have to buy bus batteries, and I'm like low on money right now, so I can't do it. I'll buy bus batteries at some point, and then I'll be able to like move it. Also, we discovered today, he looked under my bus and apparently have an oil leak, a pretty bad one. So that's cool too. I'm pretty sure it's the rats that are living in my engine right now, because there's nowhere else for them to live inside here. But now that the animals and me are in here, they're not going to come back. And so, I mean, they will try, but they will be, you know, killed right away. So I'm not too worried about them coming inside now, but like I definitely don't want to like leave my food or anything like that anywhere where they can get it. I have to close up with the lids the food stuffs, but I have to empty out a black bin before I can do that. So I need to get my yarn. I need to find a place to put my yarn. I need to buy a black like a shelf. I guess I could use that shelf. Will it fit there? Let's measure it real quick. I should take a break, but we'll just take a break in a minute. And since like I really can't put anything on that shelf anymore with weight, I guess the only thing I really could do is fucking yarn, so let's find out. It was very, very, very precarious getting it in here. Ow. It's caught, of course. One thing it can get caught on. on, dude. That is some fuck shit. Ow. Ugh. There it is. I literally just okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it'll fit. All right, good, 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 good. I'll put that there. I'll put all my yarn right there. I gotta get the books. Put the books over there and over there. I'll do that later. I'm gonna sit down for a little while. Maybe I'll go take a shower. I'm gonna go take a shower. I'm gonna go take a shower and then I'm gonna come back and do more stuff. I gotta put down some rugs and stuff too that I washed. I got like all those laundry bags still in my car. And then I found like 4 more laundry bags that I had forgotten about. I need like a closet really bad. So that's gonna be my next venture, is getting a closet set up so that I can hang my clothes up, because I've got to hang my clothes up. If I don't hang my clothes up, I don't know I have clothes. Like when my clothes, that's why I've been wearing like the same fucking 4 things for the last like, I don't know, 5 months. It's because everything's in the dresser drawers or like in a laundry bag. I just have nowhere to put laundry. So, like when clothes are in drawers, they disappear out of my sight. I don't know I have them. I have to be able to like go through my stuff. That's why I need to have like everything eye level, so that I can see what I've got. What do I got? What do I got? I can look and see everything. Easy access. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go take a shower. I'll see you guys all later. Love you. Bye. Maybe like an hour or so I'll be back. 2 hours, maybe, I don't know. We'll see.